maybe going further in our discussions and involving Mr. or Dr. Martin Bartels, who also running or structuring asset management funds, also with link to Luxembourg. What is your experience on usage, and especially when you start structuring Sharia-compliant initiatives? What experience have you made on that side?
I don't think that the jurisdiction is really the criterion that attracts more capital. I believe that the market needs to be seen as a whole, and usage need to be seen in the context of other schemes like life insurances and pension funds. And I believe that UCITS 4 now open a unique window of opportunity, because there is a storm coming up in the regulated in the sphere of regulated pension funds and insurance industry, and this storm can be labeled with the word Solvency II. You may be aware that all of a sudden it started this week. The public is becoming aware of the implications of Solvency II for insurance schemes and for regulated pension funds. And here in Central Europe, the trade unions have now, since the train has already left the station, the directive on Solvency II was passed in 2009, but now all of a sudden the general public understands what it means. It means that all asset classes, with the exception of government bonds, will be in a disadvantageous position. Portfolio managers cannot put together their portfolios anymore as wise investment strategies would suggest. So I anticipate that in view of this distortion, which initially was triggered by very reasonable considerations, making pension funds and life insurance schemes protect them better against insolvency, all of a sudden capital will start flowing out of these schemes. And UCITS 4 offers a nice opportunity for funds to welcome a good part of that money that will flow away. And here I see a window of opportunity for jurisdictions like Malta, Luxembourg, or Ireland, which tend to be more flexible than others. The comfort of passporting, which Dr. Litton very justly pointed out, can be used to attract money flowing out of life insurance schemes and pension funds. And it can be passed on to UCITS 4 schemes, which are not subject to Solvency II rules, which can freely invest in all asset classes. And within this context, it would be nice to include a special window for Sharia-compliant funds. Sharia-compliant funds need to be seen in the context of the whole landscape of investment schemes. This window of opportunity is potentially a very lucrative one, and it is quite natural for a rocky island like Malta to offer a safe harbor.
Okay. If we look now a little bit more, gone away a bit from the discussion about jurisdictions again, to get more into details how Islamic finance and fund structure fits perfect to each other. I know that you, Dr. Litton, have structured several Sharia-compliant funds under different Islamic legal structures. We heard today something about Murabaha and Mudaraba, where business angel and people with money get together in a joint venture, or Ijara, which is actually the leasing form of the Islamic leasing structure. What Islamic legal structure fits best to usage? And what is the most common structure within the actual product offer that is available in the market? Can you give us here an overview on?
Yeah, all three structures that we mentioned indeed are common. Whether you choose one or another also depends on the asset class that you invest your fund money in, and the structure that I see most often, in particular with funds that invest in shares, is the Mudabara structure. I believe that indeed Mudaraba is the less complex, sort of the most best fitted structure to use its Islamic fund. I would put the emphasis not so much on the question of which of the Islamic structure is best fitted, although it's a justified question, but I think the main challenge that we have from a legal point, and that will be independent on whether it was Mudaraba, Ijara, or Musharaka, is the question how to bring in the Islamic element into the fund policy. And the model that I see most often as far as share funds is concerned is linking it to an index. I think that's a safe method, and that's a tested and good method. But you also have people that say that they would like to have a black box approach, i.e. leave the investment policy totally to the Sharia board and to the management. And that is something I think that is difficult to do under the UCITS regime, at least as far as the German interpretation of this regime goes. So what stays, what remains as an option if you don't want an index, and if you can't do the black box, then you need to be specific in your investment policy terms and conditions as to how you want to make sure that you invest Sharia compliant. And what you can't do is make the Sharia board prevailing over the management. That is the same issue that we have everywhere in the financial industry in Europe, how to solve the conflict, if there is one, between management and the Sharia board. I think there the law is quite clear. The final management decision must be with the management and not the Sharia board. And that may be a challenge for the fund industry in the same way as it is for the banking industry.